Hey guys, what's up? It's McNeil from Louison Automotive, and today I'm gonna have to change the brakes on my Mercedes GLK again. So I think it's kind of important to make a video about this because a lot of people try to understand why they change their brakes within a year or 2 years, and sometimes they have to change already. I just did the brakes on this car no more than 6 months ago, maybe even 5 months ago, and I did some good quality stuff, some coated rotors, ceramic pads, and yet when I'm on the highway or any kind of higher speeds, when I hit the brake, I'm getting that vibration, like a pulsation. You almost feel like the brake pad is pushing back, and generally that happens when the rotor is warped. So when I open it up and you'll see that the brake pad is still probably 90% or looks like brand new pads, but the rotor have a slight warp that you may not be able to see with your eye. So on a road test, sometimes your brake pad might look new, your rotors might be new, but if your mechanic recommend changing it because they didn't work proper on the test drive to his satisfaction, right? Because I'm driving this car on the highway, and when I hit the brake for new rotors and new pad, it's not supposed to be vibrating that way. When I first installed it, it was not, and now it is. Sometimes it could be when the rotors get really hot, and then you have rain, or maybe you go in a puddle of water or something. The drastic change in temperature could possibly warp it, but when you have a warp rotor, you get that vibration. So today we'll be changing that rotor. Because the car is in the shop, we decided that we're gonna take a look at the oil and just have the oil change anyway. It's already up in the air, so might as well change the oil and be efficient with it. This is the oil we're gonna be using. We got it direct from Mercedes. If you were to call Mercedes to do an oil change on one of those GLK250s, it probably costs you about $250, yeah, even close to $300 just to do an oil change. But if you were to buy your own oil from the dealer, maybe you're gonna spend $100 in oil and filter, and then you can just pay a local shop $20 or $40 to change your oil for you, and then you can save lots of money. Okay, so like I mentioned before, we're getting that vibration when we hit the brake, and that is because the rotor is warped, and hence the reason why we're going to be changing it today. And we're going to take a closer look, inspect it to see what caused it to warp in the first place, but we'll get to that. But the first point is we're going to be changing it, and let's see what's going on with that car. The oil looks really dirty here, but it's a diesel vehicle. Normally the diesel cars, the oil seems to be a bit blacker, but definitely it was a good call to change it because it's up in the air. Might as well go ahead and change the oil. We take a close look in the bottom, check out the suspension and everything while we under there. Looks solid, everything looks good, and let's just take a look at that brakes right now. So like I mentioned, the rotors look new. Brake pad would still seem pretty high. But when I take a closer look at that caliper right there, I can notice a little wet spot on the caliper. It almost looks like a little bit of brake fluid. So we'll take a closer look at that, but it looks like the brake line's leaking. It could be one of those brake hose causing this brake fluid on here. If the rotor is wet with brake fluid, the oil could cause the rotor to get like much hotter, which would cause it to warp in the first place. So now that we have the rotors out, we can take a closer look at the rotor itself. And if you look at the rotor on the left side versus the one on the right side, you can clearly tell that there's a difference in color, because that's the one where the brake hose was leaking brake fluid on there. So that rotor was getting much hotter than the one on the right side, and that's the reason why it basically got warped. So that's what caused the initial problem, and now that we have the new rotor on, problem solved. So we got a new brake rotor and new pads on, and the problem was caused because of a leaky brake hose. Thanks for watching, and catch you on a new one.